Hello, welcome back to 444 Keys to Wisdom. So I am finishing up the past life reads with the Doreen Virtue Oracle deck. And I am on the sign of Sagittarius. So a lot of times knowing who we were in the past life can give us some direction on things that goes on in our life. In this lifetime, for my spiritual community that understands reincarnation. So, sometimes if we knew some sort of background of what we were or who we were in a previous lifetime, it kind of helps us understand our dynamics of certain people. Because some contracts from previous lifetimes carry over into your new lifetime. So, and sometimes we switch roles. So if you were like a daughter to somebody in a previous lifetime, you could be, a wife to them now, or a son to them now, or what have you. It kind of helps you understand like what situations are karmic, and what's like divinely ordered, for your life or whatever. So it's just interesting. It's interesting information to know, and it kind of helps you understand why you're the way you are in this lifetime, why certain things are interesting to you more than others, why you might be really good at certain things. So let's get into it. So I'm on the sign of Sagittarius. I hope everybody is well. So let's see. Ancestors, spirit guides, universe, what information can we give Sagittarius on their past life? What past life information can we give for the sign of Sagittarius? Information on past life, identity, situations for the sign of Sagittarius. Too many. Okay. All right. Past life information for the, oh wow. Okay. Thank you. Past life information for the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, please. Life information for the sign of Sagittarius. All right, Saggy. So let's see what we got here. Excuse me. Okay, so we have scribe and writer, unrequited love, trust and faith, the arts, monk or nun, mother, orphan, imprisonment or slavery, finances, biblical, father, and farm. Okay, so give me 1 second here, Saggy, to figure out what this might be. Okay, Sag, hold on. Okay, so I'm getting one story here. So Sagittarius, there is one story where there is one lifetime where you were an artist, like a musician, with the arts here and finances. Sagittarius, there was a lifetime where you were, or maybe a songwriter or producer. I mean, I guess back in the day they didn't have a lot of producers, but you know what I'm saying? Like you wrote songs. You were some kind of entertainer. You could have been a book writer. You could have been an author. You could have been a poet. You could have been an actor. But either way, you made a lot of money in the entertainment business, in the arts. You were some kind of musician or something. So if you are like an artsy type person or something like that, or a writer, you made a lot of money though. You were famous. So you spent a lifetime famous, okay? Which is pretty cool. So that's one story I'm getting. So you could be in this lifetime really talented, really maybe flashy. I mean, you could carry the same traits in this lifetime, or maybe struggle to get to that spot in life. But I feel like Sagittarius, you were an entertainer, but you made a lot of money, so you spent some time in fame and fortune. So that's pretty cool. You could probably see different parts of your life now where that might be, you could kind of see where that might mirror in this lifetime. Maybe this lifetime you decided to just be regular. Like, you know what it's like to have fame and fortune, you know. Then I have here where there is a story. Hold on. So I've got a story of you have parents, or one of your parents might have been super dedicated to religion. So I'm getting a story here where okay, so you had a parents that were, there was an unrequited love situation between parents, okay, with this mother and father. And an unrequited love is basically, you know, one person doesn't really love the other person, something like that. I feel like it was like you were the child of an arranged marriage at one point. Or this could have been, like, I feel like, because with the biblical, got the biblical card here, monk or nun, trust and faith. That's like, you know, religion. So I feel like maybe your parents had an arranged marriage because of religion. They were put together because of that, and the love between the mother and father was unrequited. And so some kind of way you might have had to deal with a situation where in this lifetime where your parents may have divorced or separated, and one parent kept you in church. So that's one story. So in this lifetime, your parents are probably divorced, or you were raised by a single parent. And whatever parent you were raised by, they kept you in church. One of your parents went away. And so religion was given to you by either your mother or your father. I'm probably a mother. Then I'm also getting a story where you spent time as a slave. Imprisonment, slavery, and farm. Ooh, okay, that's deep. With this orphan card here. So this one's going to be deep, Sag, but... Okay, so there was a lifetime where you were orphaned. Okay? Due to an unrequited love situation between your mother and your father during the period of slavery, because your parents were two different races. Either your mother was a slave and the father was a white person, or slave master. Somebody was a product of rape in one lifetime, and because somebody was forced and they got pregnant, the love was unrequited. And I have a mother here that gave a child up, orphaned. There could be something that happened in your life this time that kind of mirrored that. Or there's something going on in your life that's very significant about your father or your mother. Your relationship to your father or relationship to your mother. I feel like the mother could, I don't know. In that situation with the slavery, the mother could have been really young, which is another reason why you were orphaned. The person that overtook her was an older slave master or older man, white man. So you could be biracial. Your mother could have had you very young. And it flowed into because your mother in the lifetime was a very young slave girl and she was taken advantage of by an older white man. So that's one story I'm getting. I'm also getting, you could have been really rebellious in this lifetime at some point towards the church. There could have been an unrequited love between you and the church with this biblical trust and faith or monk or nun. Because, I don't know, maybe you were forced in another lifetime to well, you know, slaves was given Christianity. Before Christianity, we didn't know nothing about that. We had African spirituality. So, you know, slaves were forced into Christianity. When the Old Testament became not biblical but political is when it turned into Christianity. In my research, the true Bible would be the Torah, the Old Testament. But something about you, there's been a struggle with you in religion. In a certain lifetime. So if you're heavy into it now, you were not before because it just was not in your heart. You were made to do it. Or if you've done it now, it's because You're programmed to do it. But deep in your heart, that's not even how your heart is truly not in that. It was given to you. So in this lifetime, there could be a struggle, or there could have been a struggle between you and, going to church, or should I go to church? Should I not go to church? You might have spent some time outside of the church, rebelling against the church. You would have, something like that. There's been a battle between you and your religion, not spiritual, but your religion. But in this day, it's like you were forced into it, maybe. Because you were an orphan at one point, you could have been taken into a monastery, and that's how you became a monk or nun. And so it just kind of became a part of your life because the church took care of you. So you felt obligated to be a part of it. But deep in your heart, that's not where your heart truly lies. You still never felt a true connection to it because there's unrequited love. And you could still deal with that now. You could secretly question things. You could be heavy into the church, but secretly question things. You're afraid to ask questions. You're afraid to question because something in you feels like you owe them because they saved you or they did something for you. So you feel like you owe the church this, or you owe religion. You owe this to the mosque or something like that. But it's because the church or the monastery, you could have been Catholic before or something like that. They took you in as an orphan. They raised you at one point. So you do it out of obligation, but it's not truly in your heart. So you could still be dealing with that in this lifetime. You could have been, your mother or father could have been celebrities. I'm getting that with this scribe or writer of the arts. Maybe you had parents that were in the entertainment business and you guys were wealthy. You might have had a father that was a musician and a mother that was a writer. Either way, that's funny. I'm getting the scenario of, how, let's say there's, okay, so this is about to be real corny, Sag, don't laugh at me, but you know how like in the movies where, there's this rock band on tour and then this young girl goes off to see this rock band and then she gets pregnant by one of the band members and he's on tour. He has no clue that she has this baby, and then she has to go home and get the baby up for adoption because she got pregnant by this rock band person, and she has religious parents that did not believe in that, so she gave the child up for adoption. I'm getting that scenario too. You could have been that child given up for adoption, which is another reason why you became orphaned. You were made on tour. I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it kind of is. Those are the only things that I'm getting. Because you spent time as a slave at one point, which is like imprisonment, you could have gone through a series of careers in this lifetime. You could have had several jobs, because any sort of job that makes you feel, what's the good word for this? Confined. Or you have a hard time doing the humdrum every single day in the habitual careers, like, people that work for one job for 30 something years. Like you're not that person. You've had issues with that. You stay at a job for a little bit and then you bounce. You stay at a job a little bit and then you bounce. But that came from the lifetime that you spent as a slave. Like, you like to have freedom in your career. You like to be able to know, if I wanted to do this, I could. Right now I'm doing this, but if I wanted to go and do this, I can. And I will. You could be the person where you go where the money is. You go wherever the money is. You probably have very good jobs, very good top-notch jobs and careers too. And you've made good money. I got somebody here that ain't hurting for nothing. But it's because you spent time poor as a slave. And back then you told your spirit, I'll never, if I get a chance to get out of this, I'll never be this way again. And I don't believe you have been. You kept that promise to yourself. And so it's very important for you to be financially free. It's very important for you to have freedom in your career. And you've dedicated yourself to making sure you don't have to do hard labor either for the rest of your life. So whatever you do for a living, it's nothing that's hard labor, like physical labor. You've made sure you don't have to do jobs that are physically laborious, okay? You might do desk work, administrative work. You could be a professor, a teacher, an accountant, and some sort of analyst, computer engineer, something like that. But whatever it is you do, it's not labor type work. You use your mind more than your body. And you told yourself, if I ever make it out of this, I'll never have to work this hard again. And this finances is really sticking out to me because I feel like it's important to you, Sagittarius, that you like to teach others how to stay financially stable, free, liberated, financially sound. You like people to understand financial literacy because you feel like as long as you have enough money, that kind of saves you from a lot. I feel like I'm getting like a person that's very proud through their career. But that comes from the days that you spent as a slave, of being looked down on, like you were nothing. Being beaten and stuff, treated horribly. You might have had a situation in your lifetime where you were treated, you might have had some abuse as a child from a parent before, or you might have been that child that the parents just wanted to whoop on all the time, or they gave you the worst whoopings. They beat you for every little thing. Or you might have been, if you have siblings, you might be the one that got it the worst all the time. That came from that slave mentality. I mean, not slave mentality, but that came from the days of you being in slavery, and you refuse to carry that mentality in this lifetime. So even as a child, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who was very independent, very wise, very outspoken, even as a kid. And that kind of got you in trouble a lot. Adults wanted to go in on you because of that. So those days in slavery really made an impression on your spirit, your DNA. So when you reincarnated, anything that makes you feel subservient, you push back on it, even as a kid. You was probably one of them kids that if you got a spanking or if you got a whooping, you just stood there, you refused to cry. I'm not going to let you see me cry. You can beat me however you want to. You can hit me, but you're not going to get that out of me. You refused to cry. Or if you did, you did it by yourself. You refused to let people break you. But it came from the days that you spent as a slave. Every day you worked on this farm or this cotton field or whatever, you kept telling yourself, never again, never again. And you meant it because you took that into the next lifetime. And in this lifetime or lifetimes after that, it was never again. The time that you spent being raised in this monastery, you didn't have to do hard work. You were well taken care of. You were comfortable. You didn't have your parents, but you had everything you needed. And you were able to rest and grow correctly. You just didn't have parents. But then it built something in you where you felt obligated to the church, religion, Catholic church, the mosque, whatever. And so you might do it now just out of obligation because that energy is still with you. You feel like you owe them something because the religion or religious organization did something for you. They saved you. Maybe you was a wayward child or something, and you feel like when you brought your life to Jesus, or you know what I'm saying, you submitted to Allah, your life got better. So it's out of obligation, but it's still unrequited. And I feel like you secretly don't tell anybody that you question that in your heart. You're afraid to question it. That's all I got for you, Sagittarius. I hope that helped. Bye.